Oh, I don't know. We're going to start again. I don't know when this started actually recording and where it goes, but it says I'm live. So we're doing blocks 16 and 17, which I just said. I hope that you all have a gorgeous day and stay cool from all this heat. I'm going to tip you up in my little box and see what you can see. All right, so I'll put my chair. I could have had everything set, but where would be the fun in that? Okay, so that's for the second block. Flying geese. We're going to learn 2 methods of flying geese. We're actually only going to do one, but I'm going to explain the other one. Okay, so this is block 16. Super simple. I'm doing it small. I've done this a million times, so I did a lot of the prep work. I'm going to whip this one off, and I'm going to throw it up on my design wall. I'm like super excited with all the blocks that are showing up on my design wall. And those of you that have been working along with me will have this too, which is so amazing. Sorry, just dropped that. So, and something came up on my computer. Oh, it just said my office thing is there. All right, so it's just half square triangles. 2 large ones, 8 little ones. I made them all. Here they are. Here are my 2 large ones. Then I have 4 of each of these. So we're going to put them together. I'm just going to lay it out. I think it's a cute block. And I use non-directional prints for it. All the geese are flying in the same direction. So these get sewn together. Groups of 4. You can sew this group of 4 together so that it does the pinwheel thing. Any 4 blocks that you sew together, you can put together like we put together the pinwheel and press your seams so that they all go the same direction, which is what I'm going to do on these because there'll be a little bulk where the points come together. Or I'm going to try anyway. Who knows? I'm going to turn my iron on. So it's ready when I'm done sewing my 4 together. 1/4 inch seam to adjust everything because I stole my little, I have my foot pedal up on a step stool, which is why when you hear the foot pedal fall off it, it's kind of funny. Someday I'm going to build a little ledge there for it. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Sharon. So here we go. I'm going to sew them together. And anyway, I hope you all had a great week, great weekend. I know it was Father's Day, so on Sunday, so my first Father's Day without my dad. Kind of weird, but we had our girl's dad to celebrate with, so that was kind of fun. And we went out on the boat. We tried to see whales. Tried is the operative word. The weather wasn't really perfect for it. I mean, it was perfect for being on the boat. Hello. But it was a little choppy out there. And I mean, the whales are there, but they weren't where we were. Okay, I cut these exactly the same size, and they're not showing up the same size, so we'll just sort of center them. And so we went way out to, I think it was something ledge, Jeffrey's Ledge. It's in Stillwagon, which is, it was about 20 miles we went. 20 miles out, 20 miles back. It was a good ways out. And it was gorgeous. Sun and everything, but I pushed my thing down. I didn't realize it wasn't down all the way from when I actually cleaned and changed my bobbin. Go figure. Before starting this. Anyway, there were only 1 foot waves. They weren't huge, but the waves were going one way and the wind was going the other way, which makes chop. And for those boaters, you know that. And the birds were there. They should have been feeding, but I think because of the chop, the fish must have been behaving differently because of that. So they weren't feeding the same way, and we just didn't see them come up and do their thing. And good for the whales, not so good for us finding them. The whale watch boats aren't running right now. Can't imagine. First of all, I would never get on one anyway, because everybody who goes, usually the people that go there don't own boats and don't know whether they get seasick or not, and they do. So it's just not fun for everybody else. So anyway, the whale watch boats, we know what channel they broadcast on, so we know where they are, and then we obviously know the whales are there. So that's how we find them a lot of the time. So anyway, we went all the way out there, had a great lunch. We just floated, ate our lunch, came all the way back, and then we did a barbecue on our deck. It was a lot of fun. All right, I'm pressing these all the same direction because that is how the whirl works. And okay, so now I'm going to put them back so I sew them the same way. The geese all have to go the same direction. We'll flip this down. And now these will sandwich because we pressed them the same. Well, no, they won't sandwich because they're going the same way, so I have to press this one the other way. Which means I'm going to have to do the other one. I was just too interested in telling you the whale story. Okay, so now I have them sandwiched here. Put a little pin here and here. And hopefully they fit in. Okay, make sure I have these all going the right direction. And I will flip this baby because I had to flip the other one, so clearly I have to flip this one. See, this block's going to be done in like 2 seconds. And after making, I don't remember how many half square triangles I made for that last one, but a very lot of them last week. No, I guess my week before last. But anyway, we've been just making tons of them. So it was a nice thing just to only have to make 8. I flew by when I made them. Okay, so now after I do this, send that in. I'm going to pull out the few little threads so that when I press it, the threads, I'm talking about the threads from here up, and I need to put it in, and I just let them hang loose. That should work. Okay, let's see if I did that correctly. I'm going to press them closed first, and then open this baby up. Super flat. Alright, I'll show them to you in a second. Got one done. This one isn't doing it, so I must not have pulled it all the way, pulled them out all the way down. There we go. Okay, so there is the little flat area. There's my square. I'll get the geese flying the right way. Stick them in. I don't know, which do I want up near the top? I think I want the lighter brown. Now these squares are coming out a little smaller, so I'm gonna sort of center it. This is how you sort of cheat the system here. If you sort of split the thing and the distance that they're off. Now I'm only like a 1/16 of an inch off, and it can be fit in the seam allowance. So let's see how this one goes. We'll do the sort of the same thing with this one. Who knows why that happened, but it did. This one seems to fit better. Alrighty. Oh, Louise, good morning. I'm so glad you're here. And Kathy, I think we have the whole group. And Tara's here. That's awesome. This is so cool. So awesome to see everybody this morning. I'm super excited because sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself. But there's always been, well, always been somebody. One day when I moved it, there was only one person or nobody. All right, this block's going to be done in like 2 seams, providing I pin the right 2 seams together. If you can't see something, put it up there on the message board. And I'm going to show you what I did yesterday when I should have been doing something else, but you know, that's just the way it goes in my world. Okay, I'm running the little feeder strip in so that I can just keep sewing, and I leave my machine in the needle down position. Okay, let me just press these really quick. And I can do the same whirling thing that I did, but I don't think there's going to be that much bulk in the center. Okay, so now I'm putting the block back together, and these geese, they're really not flying geese but they look like it. It looks like it's all flying in this direction, and that's the point of this block. And if I pressed it correctly, which I did, it nestles. See how they nestle? I'm just going to pin it together. Okay. Louise, have you been getting some sewing done? I'm sure you're missing your family horribly now that they're back, but enjoying the free time. Okay, this one's off a little bit on this side, but it's only off by the 1/16 of an inch. So when I piece it into the quilt, I'll make up that difference, and I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, last seam, and this is done, and then I'm going to give you my little lesson on flying geese. Maybe it's not so little, I don't know. Should have seen me trying to find it last night. Or be able to print. It's kind of crazy in my house with our daughter using the office upstairs, which is where I print out all my stuff. And I mean, I could use my laptop, obviously, which I tried to do, but getting it to talk to the printer upstairs. And my husband's in the office. So, like, I don't know. It's crazy trying to figure out how to, when we all want the same thing at the same time. It just doesn't work so smoothly. But today, we all have our own agendas and our own spaces. She's having her little telehealth. Okay, so you can see that I missed the point. Right? I mean, I didn't cut it off, but it's exposed there, which, as you know me, is going to drive me absolutely insane. So I'm going to rip this out, just this little bit right here. Plus, it didn't lay flat on the other side. So I'm just going to rip that little area out. You don't have to rip the whole thing, because all I have to do is slide it, and I can see on this side why it happened. Probably happened when the seam allowance flipped. I don't know why it did it, but it did. So the block's not going to be done quite as quick, but this is the last seam. And it'll take me a minute here to fix it. So let's see if I can pull up the threads on the side. It's hard to see the white on the white thread on white, pulling it up. There we go, I caught it. Okay. Now I can open it and line it up and flip that back. And I'll sew it from this side, so it should work. And I'm lining the 2 points up. I always say don't aim for them. Okay, now I have to pull my, I don't want to restitch everything. So let's just see how this goes this time. At least they'll match this time. I should have stuck a pin in there to match them, but I didn't. Who knows? Doesn't matter. Oh, well, it's better. Now the other one's off. So you know what? I'm just going to press it and let it go today. And now we're going to check the size of this block because it seems like it's off, but it's not off by too much. Okay, so there's our block. It's all done. I'm going to stick it up on the design wall. And you know, probably later I will go back and fix that point because it will drive me insane. It just will. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I can let things go and sometimes I can't. All right, so we're done with this one. It was super simple. Super simple. For me, anyway. I shouldn't say that because what's simple for me isn't always simple for everybody. Now, but this is the one that is the flying geese. Like, there's a lot of them on there. Can you see that? 4, 8, 12, 16. Oh no, 3, 6, 9, 12. I lied. There's 12. I was counting 4s. All right, so I fussy cut the corners. I got the ships, so I didn't super fussy cut them, but I made it so that I got lots of ships in my corners pieces. So I'm putting them aside because we have to make it. Then I put the fish fabric in the middle. And then these are going to make the flying geese. And you say flying geese from a square. Eleanor Burns was the first person that I know of that I don't know whether she's the first one ever, but she's the first one that I know of that did the no waste flying geese. Traditionally, you take a rectangle. I'm just going to fold this so it's a rectangle. And the formula for making the flying geese is whatever the height of your rectangle is, that's how big you cut your square. So for these, the rectangle, okay, is cut, I'm doing the 12-inch side, is cut 3.5 by 2 inches, okay? So then I would cut 2-inch squares, and they would get sewn on here, on the rectangle, and you would sew corner to corner, and you flip it up. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it. And then you would put the square on the other one, sew corner to corner, other side, and flip it up. And you can see that you have a beautiful, if I can get my fingers out of the way, you have a beautiful flying goose one. And that is the simple traditional way to do it. I mean, or you could cut the triangle instead of doing a stitch and flip. Then somebody said, excuse me, I need my water. Somebody said, homage to Caitlin, that she came up with this way to waste not to waste the fabric, to use both sides of that square. Okay, so then you had to use math, and the formula is this: you take the finished width, not the unfinished width, but the finished width. So the finished width for the flying geese that we're making today is 1.5 inches high by 3 inches wide. That's what we need to make this 12-inch block that we're doing, okay? And then don't worry about remembering this math. It's all over the internet, okay? But you can write it down if you want. So you take the square, which becomes the goose, becomes that triangle, the bigger triangle that's in the middle, okay? You take the finished width, which in our case is 3 inches, and you add 1.25 inches. So I added 1.25 inches. That would be 3 plus 1 is 4.25. So 4.25 inch square. That's what this is. Okay? To make the sky that the geese fly through, you take the finished width, which in our case is 1.5 inches. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. The finished height, not width, the finished height, which is 1.5 inches, and you add 7/8 of an inch. Okay. So ours is 1.5. Okay. So 7/8. So is, if you take 4 of the eighths away, that's another half. I'm trying to think how to say this simply. So that makes it another whole. So that's 2 inches. That leaves 3/8 left over. So this is a 2 3/8 inch square. Now, I just did all that math. And look, somebody created a chart. I printed this chart out. It's called Fast Flying Geese. They call it 8 million things. But if you Google on your computer, no waste flying geese, like a million charts flow up and people have them all over the place. They even put the pictures in there for you and everything. I could put a link to it, but I think I printed it off somebody's Instagram. Not Instagram, Pinterest or whatever. But it had what I wanted on there, the 1.5 by 3. And look, it says 2 3/8 and 4.25. I actually did the math first. I was a math teacher for a little while. If I couldn't do that math, shame on me. So anyway, I did it. I did it right, even after all these years. And now we're going to make them. And they show how to make a super pointy one down here too, which is like the, what's that called? Flight 480, that block. It's kind of a cool block. So anyway, we're going to do it. We're going to do it together. We need to do it to get 12. We get 4. We need to do it 3 times. I counted wrong. I cut out 4 squares, but I will save it. We only have to do 3, providing they all come out right, okay? Which they should. So the first thing we do is we take the square, the big square, the goose, and we put, this is a solid fabric, so it's the same on both sides, but we put the fabric right sides together. I want you to think. And we line them up, line right in a row in the corner. Make sure that these corners match and lay there. Then you take your beautiful pencil and you draw a line from the point to the point. Now here's my line drawing lecture that I tell you every single time. Your lead, or your point on your pencil, has thickness, okay? So you want to make sure that when you put your ruler down, you put the tip, help yourself, you put the tip of your pencil in on that point, and then you start drawing, okay? And then you draw down, okay? And when you sew, your thread has thickness too, all right? So now they draw a stitching line. If you want to draw a stitching line, you just come over 1/4 inch and draw a line again like this, okay? I don't do that. I have a 1/4 inch foot on my machine, so I can sew 1/4 inch away. Now we don't want these to move, these squares to move, but you can't draw the line through a pin. So I just put the pin down in the middle of the square, pull it out when I come. We're going to sew 1/4 inch, just like we were making the half square triangles, only this time we're making flying geese, okay? So we're going to sew 1/4 inch away, 1/4 inch away. And I do the same thing. I stitch with the foot just over this line, okay? Just disappear the line, not way in under your foot. Then you have too skinny a seam allowance, but you want a scant 1/4 inch, okay? So it all depends on your machine. So I'm putting this down and I'm running the 1/4 inch edge of my foot right along that edge. My iron just turned off, I can hear it. And I'm stitching right down that line. Now I would chain all 3 of them, but I just want, next time I'll draw the line on 2 of them and I'll chain the 2 of them. but I just want to show you one all the way through, and then we'll do the other one and put the block together so that you get to see this whole process 3 times. You should have it down. So now I'm running it down the other way. Oops. I'll let it jump off my foot. You can see how close and accurate your 1/4 inch foot is, I suppose, if you drew this line. I don't, I think we are all really good with our 1/4 inch, so don't think we have to worry about that. I did trim these little threads off from when I started it again. It drives me crazy. Okay, so there we go. We drew, I sewed, it's easier to see the stitching on the back side, but I stitched the 2 sides, okay? So now we just take the ruler and we cut on the line that we drew. Rotary cutter. And now you can kind of see that the flying geese are starting to happen. And so this is telling you to, with right sides together, place it, cut on the diagonal line, open the triangles, and press. It doesn't say which way to press, and I can't remember what Eleanor Burns says, whether you press it out or whether you press it down. So I'm going to press one way and one the other. We'll try and see which way works best, because I really, truly do not remember. Should have looked that up. So if anybody remembers, type it in there. Oh, I want steam because it's not hot enough. I love steam. All right, this one I'm going to press the other way. I think you press it towards the... Kind of looks neater this way, but I don't think that works. I think you press away from the geese. I mean from, yeah. But anyway, so now we're going to take and do the same thing and put, but we're going to put just 1 square on each one. Okay? I can see that she pressed it away. All right, so I'm going to go fix this one because it made sense to me. Like my brain kicked in. So I'm going to flatten this one back out and flip it the way it's supposed to go. Because if you were just doing the stitch and flip, you would have pressed it away. So now it's easier for me to draw the lines on the second 2 that we have to do before I put it down. Okay, the corner to corner. And but if you want to put it on there and draw it on, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Then we stick it right on like we did the other one. And can you see how I'm going to get 4 flying geese from this 1 square and no waste? It's all like the seam allowance. Okay, sticking 1 pin in there, putting this, tucking this in the corner. And then we're going to have to measure and see how the flying geese came out. And I'll show you that. But we'll have all 4 of them, which is kind of cool. So now we're just going to stitch down. You can start stitch from the point down, whichever way you like better. I'll stitch down each side. Let me get this out of the way so you can see better. Louise, can you see I have your tape that you gave me on my machine? I'm so in love with it. I was doing my half square triangles with it, and I was doing this block that I have on my design wall, which I will show you all at the end when we're done. And okay. Take that extra thread off. I know it's in there somewhere. There we go. I think I got it. Stitch down the other side. Your machine will stitch a few stitches without any fabric underneath it, so you can go, before you put your feeder in, you can stitch a few stitches. It's easier to clip the thread than you have all the little extra thread on your feeder. And I didn't tell you, but I do have my machine set stitch length at 2.0 is what I have on the machine. All right, now we're going to cut right on the line that we drew, not what we stitched, but what we drew. And I'm going to go to the iron and press them away just like I did the other ones. And actually, I'll leave this over here because we have to square them up. And you'll see we'll have 4 beautiful flying geese. Amazing flying geese. Okay, so there it is. Look at that flying geese. We have 4 of them. Look at that. I mean, that was pretty fast to get 4 done. I just think it's absolutely amazing, and so there's something satisfying about that. Now, I'm going to put this away because this is just the paper that has the instructions on it, and I wrote down the formula so I would remember to tell you correctly. And you can see, look, I don't have ADD or anything. Look, my notes are like all over the place. That's my little drawing for you, Tara, from yesterday. Then I did it on the computer. And I saved it in the computer, so when I have images, I can print it out for you. So now we want to make sure, we need it to be 2 by 3.5 inches. So what I'm doing, this is the 1/4 inch line on my ruler right here. And I want to make sure that I have a 1/4 inch above the edge of the flying goose. And if I want to make sure that I have the angle right, I can put it right on that little corner there, and then I can trim it right there, and then I know it's square on that piece, and then I can move it over. I mean, that's a little painstaking, but it absolutely works. Cuts that little tip off. Now when I flip it over and I put the 2-inch line on there, I know that I have the 1/4 inch. And look, I'm trimming hardly anything off, which means we did a good job. And then this has to be 3.5. I could put the 3.5 part on my ruler. Half of 3, we put center, half of, all right, is 1 3/4. So I'm putting the 1 3/4 right in the middle. It's probably easier for you to see the 1 3/4 this way. And we know that line is straight, they're parallel, right? So we line that up, put the 1 3/4 on there, trim that little bit off, rotate it. Probably should have done a bunch of these so that you wouldn't have to stand here and watch me trim them up. But there we go. Perfect, perfect flying geese for our block. So now let's see how this one goes. If I put the, I'll do it faster this way because I'm just faster. So I'm just really cutting off that tip. And then when I flip it over, I can double check that the 2 1/4 is there. This one has a little more off the base. I put the 1 3/4, almost did 1.5. That would have been ugly. Would have ruined our flying goose. Rotate it. Make sure we have it lined up. You can tell because that 45-degree line shows up on there. There's the next one. 2. But we only have to do 2 more of these. Now this one isn't as happy. So there we go. But we can adjust. I'm really good at sort of fixing on the fly here, but trimming off less. 1 3/4. Put on the bottom there. Basically, we should just be cutting off the dog ears. There we go. 3. Here's the last one. This one looks pretty good. We'll see. I said that. Not they all looked pretty good, but there we go. Yeah, this one's just taking off the dog ear at the top here. Now flip it. Now, there are trimmers for this. Eleanor Burns has her own trimmers, but here's the thing. You can only make the size of her trimmers. Deb Tucker has a trimmer too, and I have it. It's called the Wing Clipper. And, but she doesn't have this 2 by 3. Maybe she does. Maybe I just saw it wrong. I'm going to pull it out of my drawer for you guys so you can see it. And I'm going to see if this fits in here, and I was just wrong. 1 3/4. There we go. Okay, so this is my trash, and I'll grab it out of my drawer because, as you all know, I have 8 million. I think if I was looking at it yesterday. There's my square. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yep, she does have the 2 by 3.5. So we can try it on the next one. But this is their ruler, okay? And you can see that our piece fits in there, okay? So we'll try it. We'll see how it goes. I haven't used the wing clipper in a long time. Maybe it'll be faster, but I'm pretty fast with this. So let's line it up. Let's set up our next 2. We'll draw the lines on them and get going, get cranking them out. So I took the bed. I'm super excited. I took the bedding out to our boat this weekend when we went out for the Father's Day ride. And not the pillows. We can only take what we can carry on, you know, each person one load on the launch still. So slowly we bring things out one bag at a time. But the good news is because we store our boat indoors, we can leave a lot of stuff on board, like all the glasses, all the silverware, all that stuff. So slowly each time I go, I bring a case of water. Pretty soon we'll be drowning in water, but you can never have too much water. Water all around and not a drop to drink. I think about that all the time. And my husband brings alcohol. What does that say about us as a pair? It's pretty funny. So we had margaritas and seltzer up there. It's great. So I'm hoping maybe this weekend we can spend the night on the boat for the weekend. It'd be awesome. Okay, so there's the 2 pinned, and I'm ready to do the first stitching down. Okay, this is not the way the directions on the pattern are. The directions on the pattern are the traditional way. Okay, but this way, look how fast we're doing it. I don't think I would be faster. I mean, I'm even stopping to explain everything to you, and I'm faster. So all things being equal, okay. I need that. I'm going to move it out of the way. And the other one. You'll see that being able to chain piece this, if you had to make, there was a quilt I made from Eleanor Burns' book, and I did it her way. That's how I cemented in my brain, which is why the way to press it, when I pressed it the other way, I knew immediately it was wrong. I made 300 flying geese for that quilt. And after I did it, I didn't want to make another flying geese for a long time. I sort of feel that way about half square triangles, but that's not really true. So there were just so many in that one block. So, all right. I think I did both sides. Yep. When I'm talking, I don't always pay as much attention as I should, but okay. So now cutting on the line. My iron just turned off too. All right. It's not super, when the light is like this on the white, I should use this. I usually have gray thread. I can see it better. Okay, here we go. Pressing it. Pressing up our little geese. Oh, don't want to steam yet. Thinking about it. I start all of a sudden when I don't want it to. Yep, I left the button on. There it goes. Now I can steam the other When you're pressing these up, you want to flip up the one that's on top first. If you flip this one's down, you flip this one up, see how it torques it. But I think you'll naturally do it that way. Okay, so now let's put this on the, let's draw the lines. We need 2, 4 of them, right? So I'm gonna draw my line corner to corner. And by the way, Deb Tucker has you do this no waste way also. So I think I must have our instruction booklet in there. Maybe I'll show it to you next time. I'm not gonna bother to dig it out. But it's getting super hot in my workroom, so I'm gonna disappear for 1 second and turn the fan on. All right, there we go. So I have all 4 of them drawn, and now I won't stand here and drip on my work. And I'm gonna put a pin in each. The reason I put a pin in these is because it's not completely flat with that bump, and I don't want to risk having it shift too much. There is some leeway, as you saw when we trimmed it, but I don't want it to shift too much. And the more accurate you are, the more accurate your block comes out. Okay. Oh, I also want to, I don't think I have them in here. I think I gave them all away. I did a different mask pattern. I did the one from the orange dot lady. Go this way. It's easier to start off that. I wish I knew her first name. I don't like calling her the orange dot lady. That's her website, orange dot, and it's a free pattern on her website. You download it. You have to put it in your cart, but she doesn't even ask you to put your credit card in to check out. And so she's who knew? She was an engineer before she was a quilter. And she was asked by the hospital administration, she's friends with the the head of the hospital administration. Anyway, to design a mask that home sewers could make that would fit their standards of the being flat against the face, and then it creates this little breathing pocket in there. So don't try and read her directions though. Let me just say, I don't know. They're just too word dense for me. I'm definitely a picture person. So she has made a video, and after you do it the first time, after you watch it the first time, you can just make them. And they're, can I tell you, it was super simple. I made 8 of them this past weekend for Emily and Tim and Justin Dave, for to redo it. People that have to wear them all day long. And it looks like it's going to be this big, bulky, cumbersome thing. And truthfully, I don't care what it looks like on my face if it's keeping me safe, So but it's so lightweight and comfortable. Now she uses batting. I do not. I use this fusible interfacing that I have a bolt of because, let's just be real, I'm a spoiled child. And I could go back down to Pembroke and buy another bolt at wholesale. Matter of fact, if anybody wants to go down there, maybe we could make a trip. I think they're open. I think you have to do it by appointment. We would call ahead because they only allow so many people in there at a time, which is a super right thing to do. And buy another bolt of interfacing. All right, I wobbled a little on that, but we'll see if that makes too big a difference. It might. So we might have one like deformed goose, but they're all beautiful. All right, so here we go. Now we're just going to trim them. And I'll press these and then we'll see how the wing clipper goes. See if it's faster. I don't really remember, so I'm going to have to, because I haven't used it in a long time. And so I'm going to try. So now we have all the rest of them to do. 8 of them. So I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Let's just see how this wing clipper does, because we need to trim them before we put them in the quilt, or we'll have a hot mess. So I think if I put this up this way, and that's 2.5. Oh, there it is. I was like, what did I do wrong? There's an X up here, and that marks the 1/4 inch. You can see that there's a 1/4 inch line. This might be kind of cool. So when I put that on there, I can see that I have fabric underneath it. But I think, la-di-da, you put this here first so that you make sure you center your little goose and you've got the angle going this way. Let me just measure down and see if that's a 1/4 inch. It is. Like, why would you do it wrong? Then you cut that off. Okay, so now you know you have that cut off correctly. Now, this is a lot of flipping too, because now I can put this here. And now I know that that square, oh, well, I could have just left it here and done this like this. And then flipped it this way. I think we'll just go with that because now I can see that it's correct. Oops. You know what? I have to put my tape on the bottom of this because I'm just going to use this one right here to flatten it. All right. So I have this. Oh, maybe I do. I think I taped up my daughter's wound with it and didn't bring it back. She had a biopsy, skin biopsy on her wrap, and she calls it a crater put in her arm. So I'll just have to be more careful. Okay, so there's one. Let's just do it this way. Let's just go this way, and I gotta move. Sorry, but I gotta move. Can you see? Maybe I can tip it down a little better. You guys can see it. All right. So I'm gonna put that right there. Flip it. Oh, I forgot to trim the other side. Oh, the top's done. Okay. There we go. And this just didn't come off. All right. So now we just drop it right in here. There we go. There's 2. It's probably is faster. So I don't have to worry about what's straight. It's showing me right here. Look at that. Adjust this. We're getting there. Oh, it's interesting. I'm just trying to see how, if I lose the point on the side. But I don't on this side. I think I will on this side. You know, we can't have 100% perfect ones all the time. All right, it's almost time for a new blade again. I'm trimming a lot of quilts. Okay. This week I got lots of quilts dropped off to me. Makes me a very happy person. Looks like it's a little off. Not so happy with this one. Okay, we'll just go like this. Compromise, split the difference. 3 more to go, you guys. 3 more. Probably shouldn't talk while I'm doing it, but this is why I did the 12-inch block for this. Can you imagine how little these flying geese would have been the other way? They would have finished, for the 4-inch block, it would have finished a 1/2 inch by 1 inch. I think I would have paper pieced them. Okay. Remind me next time and I'll show you the tape that I put on the back of my rulers. You could actually line these up, which I probably would do, and do all one direction and then flip and do all the other direction after. But it would be out of the camera view, so plus I would hit my laptop. Not a good idea. I'm working on getting a tripod so that I can, a little stand so that I can do this and you can see different angles of what I'm doing. Might make it easier to learn how to do it. I think Deb Tupker would be proud of me. I remembered all this. All right. We now have all our flying geese, if I counted correctly. Either way, I'll just put together all that much. Now I'm sticking this in the trash. And we're ready to build our block, which will be totally awesome. Okay, here we go. So, put my ruler. Actually, put it away. I'll know where it is. There's the first set. So we trimmed the first set with my ruler, and we trimmed with just a regular 6.5 inch square ruler, and which I highly recommend. Every quilter should have one square ruler, and I love creative grids. So each side needs 3. So we need 4 piles of 3 flying geese. All right, those are my extras to make the one I didn't need because I don't know, I was in the mode to make lots of flying geese. So these are the corners. But the first thing we're going to do before we lay it all out, because it's going to be big in the space, is sew these together end to end like this. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to make groups of 3 flying geese. I'm going to wake my iron up because it'll drive me crazy. No need to be crazy. So we're just going to flip this down. Now here's the thing. You could sew the geese with this side up or this side up. I've been taught both ways. I don't think that it matters one way or the other. If you sew this way, this is what happens. If this isn't perfectly 1/4 inch, you sew along and then you aim for it. So you don't have a straight seam. So I'm going to just sew with this on top. Then I don't have to think about it. I'm just sewing my 1/4 inch down. Now this amazing tape from Cluck Cluck Sew that I have on my machine is, well, you can tell I hit that, has the 1/4 inch mark. So I not only have my 1/4 inch foot, but I have it there. But it also has this red line down the middle, which is so amazing. It doesn't matter what 3, you know, they are. So I'm just making 4 groups of 2 and then adding the 3rd one on. So it sort of freezes me right, you know, keeps me straighter right along the, 1, 2, and 1 more pair. Should have 4. Yep, I do. Okay. So now, I'm like newly super in love with this, and it's super easy to put on. I don't know. Did I not put my IDT on? No, I did. I don't know why my machine's not just flying over that. It should. Maybe I don't have quite enough pressure on my presser foot. I'd say that twice. Pressure, presser foot. That's a tongue twister. Went on that one. Almost went on that one. Let's see what happens to my points here. Okay, so let's put this little baby through. And we have our 4 pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to press them and you'll see how good I did. No pressure or anything. When I'm pressing them, by the way, there's less bulk here on this seam than there is on this right here where the geese comes together. So given these doesn't have to line up with anything, I'm just pressing that way up. Always press to the least bulk or the light if you have a choice. Yeah, see, this one moved on the edge. This one did too. Okay, so I have to restitch that one. This one's okay. All right, so this one came out okay, but do you remember I said it was not going over the edge really well? I'm going to do it this way so I can control it when it goes over the edge, because it just made a divot in there. I'm not going to press it and then go, I have to sew this again when I can already see it. So it doesn't matter how many rows of stitching you have in there. I mean, yes, it's making more thickness of the thread, which is not necessarily a good idea. But it's not going to affect it. I say that now and watch when we sew it together. I go, why is this a little shorter? Then all of you can type in the comments, that's because you stitched it twice, because it wouldn't go over the bump. All right, so I can just add this 3rd one to feed through, but I might have to flip them over. We're going to try. I'm going to get my awl out and see, maybe that will help me go straight. Let's see, it bunched up there a little bit. Up. All right, press these 3. All right. Yeah, so much happier. It's so much happier. All right. I still have my points, but there was no bump. All right, so let's see. I might have to redo them. But now that it's just 1 on here, you want to put the shorter or smaller side on top. It's just, oh, you know, if I attach it to the bottom, look at that, then I can have it on top. It doesn't matter. Oh, light dawns on Marblehead. Okay, here we go. So now I can see whether it makes a bobble here, and I can actually just sort of put this here. There we go. That shift on it? I don't think so. Something was weird there. You know, you can't win for trying. Okay, so this way. I know I said to put the flat side there, but my machine's not doing it today. It's just not doing it. But I'm not aiming for it. I'm just going straight. Here we go. This is the last one, then we'll build the block. Just doing it this way. Putting it on this end. Still press everything the same way, and I can fix that little pressing. You notice that? It's good. It's good I'm doing it this way. All right, let's see how it goes. Press these. We'll put our block together. Then I'll get out the block that we're going to do next week and show you. Let's see what I did that way. The little bubble's not too bad. Still my point. Sometimes it drops to one side of the point, sometimes it drops to the other when it does that. Okay, we have our 3 flying geese put together. And my mouse is in the way. So now we're going to build the block right here. Where we cut our way. This is our center of the block. And I'm going to make all the ships, well, they're reflected, but I'm going to try and make them predominantly go in the same direction. And this now is just going to look like a 9 patch. You've all made 9 patches before, and the flying geese are all flying into the center. So there they go, right into the center. And there's the quilt block. Look at that. I did this dark because I'm trying to make it on the outside because I'm trying to build up some more darkness on the outside there. There we go. So now so this is a row, this is a row, this is a row, and now we sew it together. So just flipping this over. It's a little long. There's a lot of seams in that flying geese, so putting this together here. There's one pin there. Okay. Oh, see? Maybe if I speed up a little bit. Yeah, I like speed better. I'm going slow. Maybe I'm going too slow. All right, flip this one over. And we'll add the third, but this is going to fly across the edge here. And this way, I want to just see how this has got the little bumps in there. Nope, it's okay. Lost one point. Okay, that one fit there. All right, I need to make sure I'm doing this the right way with my shippies. Okay. Add this one in. When you hear that noise, it's putting a bunch of little stitches all together. It's like running up that ramp. So maybe I have too much pressure. I'll talk to Phyllis about that. Okay, pressing this baby. You can see how the rows coming together. Look at that. Add this one. a little bit. It's always good to use pins. That's it. Oh, see, I told you my foot pedal would fall. It just fell off the step stool. I'll pick it up after I iron. Look at that. This baby's going on here, but I can't sew it without my foot pet. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. Okay, there we go. I put that shelf paper grippy stuff on there, and really did make a difference. This is gonna sew better this way. Just saying, for the bumps. So I'll just go this way. There we go. No, I have that other one again. You could press the seams open for the at the base for the flying goose if you wanted to, but there's really no need to. Okay, so these two rows are going to get sewn together. This way we can just keep the chaining going. We're like a seam away. There's one more seam to do. These two nest together, and so I'm making sure they're really butted up against each other. It's really important to press so that they do that. So I'll have an easy job with the flying geese going one way and have to work a little bit the other way. But that is the way it goes. If it was all easy, where would the fun be in that? And then after we get this block together, I'll put it up and I'll show you the design wall. And we can talk about what we're gonna do. The weather's gonna eventually cool down here, I think. I think it's gonna get better. Making sure I didn't flip this. It felt like, nope, it didn't. Okay. Now these, I want to make sure when we come to these seams that it stays under the presser foot. I want to go over it. Oops. Taking the pin out. So I'm just, I shouldn't have put that over there. I'm just pressing it, holding it down with the awl till it's underneath the presser foot. This one will be fine, but I'll do it anyway, just to make sure it doesn't flip. All right. So now we have to run this through because we need to press both and put it together. We'll have the two pieces. So I'm going to press the seam. Look at those fish. Kind of cool. All right. I just love the fish in this. I think this is what sold me on the pattern. I think I have the fish upside down. I turned that upside down and the ship's right side up, but I'm going to leave it that way. Because technically it should go this way. That's right side up. Well, I have to sew it this way anyway. So here we go. But I have to pin it this way. Now this time the flying geese are going to be on the underside when we sew it. So we just do a little prayer that they don't flip. And it's fitting beautifully, so that's always a good sign. When I didn't have to make too many adjustments on this one. That little one, for some reason, well, partly because I rushed through it. Maybe I wasn't super careful last night with my cutting because I was doing it late. So, all right, here we go. Because I just had to I'll show you the block. I just had to play around with this new fabric that I got. I ordered it. It was on back order because it was so popular that it sold out. And I decided it was worth waiting for. So I waited for it. I'm going to make a nice fall. I know, don't think fall. It's just barely summer, but it's just so beautiful. I just think it's really beautiful. I don't have all of it here because it comes a little bit. Well, I ordered a fat quarter bundle just so I could make more things with it. It's All Hallows Eve. Did you guys hear of that? It's Moda, but it's Fig Tree Company. Just love Moda. Okay, here we go. Press this and the block should be done. A little ways in there. I'm not happy about them, but they press flat. Okay, I'm putting it up on the design wall. Move that one out of the way. Let's see, move it down. Put it in. I'll put it in above it. I guess I should have just left it there. There. Put that there. Okay. Now I'm gonna take you down. Put the box away. Don't get seasick. So I'm moving you around. But there is the design wall. There's our new block that we just did. Maybe I'll bring it in. Let's see if I put it here, it'll be closer. There we go. You can see it better. I think it came out, let's see, this way. I can get a little closer. Nope, that way. It's probably worse. Probably better just stable. Anyway. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Tara. Here we go. Now, so most of you have seen this before, so the only new thing, and I'll put it up there so I don't have to move you too much, is this. There's the block that I stitched yesterday. I just had to play with this fabric. I think this orange, I just think all of it is so beautiful. And it's I'll show you the whole thing. This is the first block. You'd make two. I don't know how many blocks you do every month. It's like a block of the month. I signed up for it before, but they got back ordered because so many people loved it, and then the pandemic and everything. So finally they reprinted it, did the fabric. And I said, I'm just ordering more of it because I just think it's so beautiful. And this is the fabric. So this is the fabric that's for the back. And I don't know, there's a lot of glare there because it's in the plastic bag still of it. And this is the quilt. This is the quilt that's getting made, okay, that I'm making. And I'm going to do the applique. And when I get the month that has the applique, I'll put it up online. Okay, I don't know when it'll come, but you can see it over here. Right there. And then there's another one right there. Little one right there. And these little curved ones, if they do them applique, I'm going to do them with my curvy ruler. So, that is that. So, I mean, you can understand why I've been waiting so long for it. I just had to do it. My gosh. I just had to do it right then. I couldn't wait, you know. It was just crazy. All right, hold on. I'm getting my box that has all the stuff for next time in there. So, here we go. I've gotten smart. I've stopped putting the pieces that we've done already back in my box. So, okay, so next is 18, and it's an alternate block. I took all the applique out of this, so we're only doing piecing in this right here. And so I picked this one, these lilies. I really like it. So next week, that's what we're going to make, this block right here. And I'm going to do, I don't know, I need more 6-inch blocks now, so to fit in the space. So I don't know if it's going to be too tiny, 1 3/4. We will try. What if we try making it 6 inches and sticking it in there? Though it would be really pretty large. So maybe I'll make, yeah, I'll make one more 12, because then look at these ones. Somehow I did not print out 20, and I've gone to my computer and done it. But this one could be a 6-inch. This one could go either way. I like this one. This could be little, or it could be big. So I might have to make this one little. And who knows, I'll look at what 20 is. I'll decide. It's just the way it goes. I'll just decide before next week. Oh. So anyway, I have to work. You know, I have the show coming up on September 26th. Let me put this back in order here because it's in. And so I have to work. I'll tip it up and show you my little fans blowing. I have fans blowing my design wall. The signal flag. So I'm going to spend time this week. I'm going to finish the other block that goes with the goes with this, and then I'm going to finish all my signal flags and put together my paper piecing pieces. And I'll show you. Just hold me accountable. I'll show you next week how I put it together. I already cut the strips thanks to Sharon, the Go Cutter. I cut my sashing strips with the Go Cutter. How cool is that? They're going to be 2 inches. And then I'm going to make compass blocks for the corners, for the 4 corners. And then I don't know whether how big a border I'm gonna put on it. So my goal is to have that done by the end of the week. That's a pretty ambitious goal, considering today is a crazy day. And so you guys know, and it's not going to affect my sewing, they say. I had a biopsy done I had my skin check done, you know, like they always find something, which is good. Praise God that they can find it, because I would not hate to have it get worse. So I always expect that they're going to find something. Last year they found nothing and I was fine. This year she found something on my arm. I don't know if you can see it. It doesn't matter. They did the biopsy on there, and then she called me back and she goes, "It's melanoma." And I went, "No!" Of course I freak out. How can you not freak out? I've had breast cancer twice. So I freaked out. And she said, "Oh no, it's all encapsulated in the top layers of the skin. We can tell it hasn't gone anywhere. All we have to do is surgically remove a bigger area." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I'm going Wednesday to have that done. So I may not get all the signal flags done if I'm a little baby about it, and I can't. It depends on how big an area they take out of my right arm. It's my right arm. But my goal is to cut everything. It's not till 4 o'clock on Wednesday. My goal is to cut everything I can cut for the signal flags and make them in piles, so that, because I can't sit still, as Laura knows, unless I'm playing on my iPad, stupid games. So I can just sit at my machine and sew on Thursday. And I don't have to try and press hard with my right hand with the rotary cutter. That's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. So anyway, that's my plan. Signal flags this week. No goofing on extra stuff. I'll prep the block. So we'll make our lilies. If there's something you guys really want to see me do, if you know it right now, type it in the chat so I can read it before I sign off. I know there's a little bit of a delay between when I ask you the question and when you can type in. And I'll try and do it next week too. Or I will do it, you know, find a way to show you the following week, and I'll explain how we're going to do it. All right. So that's it, you guys. This has been great. We got a lot done today. Oh my gosh. I mean, I have a little bit of a mess here that I made that I will clean up, sort of threw everything around. But we did great. And I'm psyched that you guys were all here. I hope you have an awesome week. I hope that it's not too hot. And I have to go out and water, because actually Peter waters. I shouldn't say that. I should remind Peter to water. That's his little thing, because it's so dry here. And our garden is sort of wilting. But Get out and do fun things. Get out and walk.